We have different types of essays that we ask students to write in high school. One is a narrative. When you are asked to write a narrative, you're supposed to simply tell a relevant story. There are various ways in which you can tell when the question is asking you to write a narrative. One of the ways is a composition that you're supposed to begin with a given phrase or given words. For example, write a composition beginning. When I arrived home, I found a crowd gathered in our compound. Everyone seemed happy. You are supposed to begin with the given words. That is a narrative. The second example, you're supposed to end with certain words. For instance, write a composition ending. Given another chance, I would not repeat the mistake. You're supposed to end with those words. That composition requires that you write a narrative. Simply tell a relevant story. Another example is where you're supposed to write a story based on a proverb or a saying. For instance, write a composition to illustrate the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're supposed to simply write a story that illustrates the proverb and not explain the meaning of the proverb. Another example of the same, write a composition to illustrate the saying, honesty is the best policy. Write a story where someone is honest and they succeed or they win, or someone is dishonest and they are punished or they lose. The fourth composition in that category is where you're given keywords. For instance, write a story that involves a wallet, money, and a reward. For those four compositions, you're supposed to simply write a relevant story. The second type of composition is expository, and here you're supposed to explain facts or concepts. For example, write a composition explaining how the youth in Kenya can contribute to good governance. Or write a composition explaining how we can conserve our forests. Here, the student is supposed to write a composition explaining those given concepts or facts and not tell a story. There's a penalty for mixing up the two. The third type of essay a student may be required to write in high school is descriptive essay, where you're supposed to use vivid language or vivid description to paint a picture with words. For instance, write a composition describing your school, or write a composition describing the person you love most, or write a composition describing the village or estate you live in. All in all, as much as we will be looking out for the vivid description, the primary thing is the language use. How you use language to describe the person, the creature, the object, or the place. The fourth composition is argumentative essay, or argumentative composition for that matter. And here you're supposed to argue for or against a certain proposition. For instance, girls and boys should be given equal inheritance by their parents. Or girls and boys should do the same chores at home. Well, when you're given such a composition, the test is on how you use language to bring out the argument and not necessarily the strength of the argument. In the first category, narratives, simply tell a story. The second category, expository essays, explain a fact or a concept. And here you'll give a well-ordered or well-structured essay, say with the introduction, some points, and a conclusion, but we do not mark the strength of the points or the number of the points, but we mark the linguistic ability, how you use language to bring out the argument. The same applies to descriptive and argumentative essay.